Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a milestone for the channel of the Club of the Man 1993. And tonight is special because this is not only another live review of Monday Night Raw. Not only are we going to talk some wrestling, but this is also my 300th Raw review of the channel. Yep, 300 reviews of Monday Night Raw. Man, quite a milestone. I started doing reviews of the weekly shows in 2017. Obviously, I probably could have gotten to this milestone maybe a year quicker if I didn't take a year off from doing Raw and SmackDown reviews when I was just absolutely burned out and just done with WWE in 2021. And of course, I finally came back whenever Triple H took over in 2022. Almost pulled the plug again in 2023, the week after WrestleMania, when we had that horrid Raw after WrestleMania that obviously showed that Vince McMahon was back. But through the struggles and all, we have made it, and we are still going strong today. And yes, so my plan, hopefully, because it's already been quite a week. Let me explain how my week has been so far. Well, within the past 2 weeks, I've lost my great aunt at 102 years old. My one aunt had to put her cat down the day after that. My one uncle's in the hospital right now with pneumonia. And, what else is there? Oh yeah, Monday, my one cat is currently at the hospital being treated for a UTI. Today I came home from work and there was a snake in my backyard. And it was right by the front doorstep to my back door. I had to call the police to get rid of it. So, it's been quite a week for me. So, I was worried. Oh yeah, and also, in case you didn't see the pictures, my charger blew up. My charger for this laptop blew up, so I had to order a new one. It got overnight, got here on Monday. I was able, when I got home after we took my cat to the hospital, I was able to finish my Night of Champions card. Just got that in there. And I was worried I was not going to be able to go live this week because of everything going on. But knock on wood, so far I am. So this week, because we're doing my 300th Raw and 300th SmackDown review, I want to try to do both of them live. So, I mean, we'll get Raw live. Hopefully, I'll get SmackDown in live this weekend as well. I should be able to, but you never know. Other things could come up. But yeah, so anyways, just enough of that introduction. We're going to get in and talk about this week's episode of Raw. The June 16th, 2025 edition of Raw. And it took place in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Home, of course, of the Green Bay Packers. We're going to look back at everything that happened on the show. We continued on with we wrapped up the first rounds of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. We had the return of Asuka, which honestly, I kind of like the women's match just a tad bit more than the men's. We had an unfortunate injury to Liv Morgan, and I'm pretty sure soon this graphic down in the bottom right here with the women's tag titles is probably going to change. We'll wait and see, of course, what happens with that. We did have Gunther addressing his future, And we got the return of Goldberg. We'll talk about that when we get to it in a second. Becky Lynch and Bayley had their first promo since Bayley returned, since being written off from WrestleMania. I'll have a little bit of an interesting take on that one to say as well. But overall, it was still good. It kept me interested, kept me on my toes. Just a couple little things that I was just like, about. But we're going to roll into it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have fun. And again, this is going to be a nice review. Again, with it being the 300th review on this channel. There's a lot of like 300s milestones because of, like Turn Alert was 300 last year, whatnot, all that other stuff. So yeah, gonna keep it rolling here. We're at like 2,260 subs, I believe, which again, I'll take it. Again, my next big goal is 2,500, then 5,000, and then 10,000 after that. We'll see, of course, if we can get there, and if I can keep the channel going strong as well as I continue to expand in life. But let's check our live chat before we get rolling here. We have Tyler in the live chat. I think I'm joining me as always, Tyler. So Goldberg is back for a title match. Yes, he is. And I will talk about that later on. That's definitely one of the things I'm not going to be talking the best about. Let's put it that way. The Fallen Soul 99 says, prayers up for Liv Morgan for speed recovery. Definitely. When Goldberg shows up, I literally have no reaction to that at all. Do you think Jey Uso is going to be Mr. King of the Ring? We'll talk about that, of course, when I get to the result of the main event. And I'm like 50-50 between Cody and Jey since I love them both. I do too, but just to kind of give an early preview, my only problem is I don't want all rematches from WrestleMania at SummerSlam again. It's the only problem I have. Tyler says, end the Judgment Day. Yes, please. Get rid of the women's tag titles. Yes, please. And I want Asuka to win and go for SmackDown to get the belt and feud with Charlotte Flair. Would it be nice to see Asuka finally beat Charlotte clean also? Because that still has not yet happened to this day. The few times she has beaten her, it was not clean. But, good stuff. Thank you for both of you guys as well. Make sure to keep your thoughts rolling in the live chat. And we are going to get rolling. Again, Monday Night Raw took place in Green Bay, Wisconsin this week. The show opened up with Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio. We got a recap of Liv Morgan and her confrontation with Nikki Bella the week before. That match is probably not happening now. But Liv welcomes us to Monday Night Morgan before she asks to applause for Dirty Dom and saying this is her division. And when you talk about her division, you talk about her and not Nikki Bella, who is at home licking her wounds, watching the show on TV where she belongs. No one paved the way for Liv. I'm glad she said that because I still cringe at Io Sky saying that Nikki Bella paved the way for her last week. I'm sorry, again, we just know that's not true. And she's a history-making, record-breaking, first and only 4-time women's champion. Tag team champion. And that makes her the greatest women's tag team champion of all time. So she's not asking for respect. She's demanding it. And she's demanding for the Women's World Championship. Hold on. Something's going on upstairs. Hang on one second. I'll be right back, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I just heard my dog getting into something, and I thought it was something important, but it was just a random piece of paper that he ripped up. Anyways, so where were we at? Oh, yeah. She wants the women's world title back, which then brings out Io Sky. So Io comes out, And, hold on. And then Io comes out and tells Liv to do everyone a favor and shut up. Because all she does is whine and disrespect. She disrespected Nikki Bella, she disrespected Io, and if she wants to fight, she's right here. And Liv says, yep, I want to fight, but only for your title. But if you're scared, just hand it over. That's totally fine with me. And Io says if she wants it, she has to earn it. And she can't just steal it like she stole Dom. And, of course, Dom steps in and tells her to make this easy and give Liv what she wants. Like he does every day. Awkward! But Liv tells her to just hand it over. Io's like, fine, take it. She tosses it over to Liv. Liv catches it. And then she just does a drop kick on her with the title and blasts her and even kicks Dom in the back of the head and knocks them both onto the floor. So obviously this is probably setting up for us future title match or something between the two of them. But we all know that that is not happening. Because unfortunately later on in the show, well, I'll wait because we do see Liv a couple more times before that injury angle happened. And even backstage after this, Liv rolled up to Raquel in Gorilla, all pouty and serious, and tells her to take care of business and win her fatal 4-way to advance in the Queen of the Ring tournament. So we had the fatal 4-way match: Ivy Nile, Raquel Rodriguez, Stephanie Vaquer, which her entrance gets even cooler and cooler each week, and the returning Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Nobody is ready for Asuka! And interesting enough, they gave her back her old theme song. I was kind of surprised by that, because there was a Triple H move to change up her gimmick, give her kind of like a new theme song, which I did like, but yeah, they gave her old one back. Interesting. This match was really good. I think what really carried this match was how many times they teased Stephanie and Asuka and had the, of course, lock up as well. Kind of teased what they could do one-on-one, but it felt like they left you wanting more. I really like how they did that. It's unfortunate, but both of them are on another level than Raquel Rodriguez and Ivy now. Nothing against them. Raquel has improved. Ivy, I still believe, has a lot of potential, but she still doesn't feel like she's up there in the level yet. Of course, everybody's favorite spot of the match is the constant of teases of Stephanie Vaquer hitting the Devil's Kiss on Raquel Rodriguez. She eventually does on the apron. Of course, no Booker T going, ah, 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 every time she does it and whatnot, but she is so over. And again, she is just on a whole other level. But Raquel almost won until Rhea Ripley got revenge on Raquel for costing her spot last week and cost her the win this week. So I guess we're getting a mini feud with that right now. Sure, we've seen them fight many times, but just to give Rhea something else to do, whatever. And then eventually Asuka would win after Rhea threw Raquel right back in, and then Asuka gets the victory with a hip attack and with a European impact on Raquel. And Asuka wins her first match back. And she was interviewed afterwards and said the fire didn't die, it's still alive, and she'll be the Queen of the Ring, and no one's ready for Asuka. Like many others who have returned, I'm still waiting on doing turn alerts for some of them, because I'll see like what serious direction Asuka does go in the upcoming weeks as well. So yeah, there's definitely still some pending turn alerts for a few people who have returned this year, but I'm still like not sure which direction they're going. So Asuka is one of them, but good to see her back. She looked great. I don't know if they'll ever have Asuka back on the level she was in NXT, but I do hope she does get back to at least main event form. So see what happens with this recent run from the Empress of Tomorrow. But it was, again, good to see her back. We got a recap of Gunther winning the world title last week. We're going to hear from him in a little bit. And then we have Liv Morgan backstage at the WWE Clubhouse, where Raquel is injured from the attack from Rhea. Raquel says she's not clear to do anything else tonight, and Liv storms off in a huff and says she'll just do it all herself, as she has a match later on against Kairi Sane. And then Dom, though, was talking with the men. Dom made promises that next week it'll be about the tag titles, but tonight Finn Balor should hang back, and Dom hang back during JD's match with AJ Styles. Finn agrees and sits down next to Raquel and tells her not to take what Liv says too hard before standing up and walking off with Roxanne Perez. Obviously, again, there is still a plan that Finn's trying to do to out of the blue, blindside Dom. Gunther then comes out. He admits that Jey Uso was a better man at WrestleMania, but that was just for one night, because every other night, he is untouchable. And of course, I start doing the Goldberg chants. He said, I don't care about the rumors, I care about reality. And the reality is that Seth Rollins has the Money in the Bank contract, and he speaks directly to Seth and says that he'd be a target after he won the title back. Oh, so since he's a target, he wants to make it very easy for Rollins. Coming out right now. And then Goldberg comes out. 58-year-old Bill Goldberg comes out. And this and that. And now July 12th, they're going to be near his family in Atlanta. And he tells Gunther that he's next, making the main event of Saturday Night's Main Event official. Like I said, I knew this was coming. But again, it's just the fact that they had to get the title. Why does Goldberg always have to fight for the title? Because the fact he fights for the title all the time and he's always losing already dampers the match. Like, Goldberg's now 58 years old? He hasn't had a good match. Well, the only match I will say that I've seen, at least, because I have heard his match with Bobby Lashley at Crown Jewel 2021 was actually good, but I've never seen it, so I can't really take that one for credit. But since 2017, the only Goldberg match that I found acceptable was his squash match on Dolph at SummerSlam 2019. I thought that was a good spot fest of a match. But every time he's fighting for a championship, he's losing. So again, why should I care? Why should I care? The moment Gunther won the title back, which the reason why that happened was because apparently they wanted this match with Gunther and Goldberg to be for the title, which again, that's a bad call. You could have made it not for the title, and I would have been a little more interested. Just the fact that it's for the title, I'm like, it's the same old shit. Gonna be in this for a couple pointless minutes. Nothing's gonna come out of it. It's gonna do nothing for Gunther. It's gonna do nothing for Goldberg. And I continue to say this. Goldberg talked about when he came back in 2016, erasing the bad ending he had the first time around. Well, to me, he accomplished that in 2017. Honestly, he could have just hung it up after 2017. Because after that, he didn't wrestle until 2019 with The Undertaker. We all know how bad that match was. And this is the first time he's going to be wrestling in a match since Elimination Chamber 2022, when he wrestled Roman Reigns. He's 58 years old, and he was already freaking limping when he left the ring. Like I said, I don't have a good feeling about this match. I literally have no interest in this. If it wasn't for the title, maybe. But the fact that the title's involved, it's you had to, now I don't care. I really don't care. And I'm not expecting a good match. I'll keep my expectations, low to the point that I think that match is going to suck at Saturday Night's Main Event. But I'm sure I'll find other reasons to watch it, and I'll still see the match. We'll see. We'll see if Goldberg is able to put on a good retirement match or not against Gunther. Again, I wish it was for the title, but it is what it is. So, we got that there. AJ Styles took on JD McDonough in a good match. Again, JD McDonough is definitely super underrated. And I do feel like that, honestly, I'm just saying, I would have brought him back as a face when he came back from his injury. Of course, maybe they'll turn him face when Finn splits from Judgment Day, even though I continue to say this. I don't think Finn Balor has any reason to turn face right now, because even if he would try to get his revenge on Dom, Finn has nothing for me right now to want to see him be a quality babyface. But JD McDonough, I've always thought he was a great wrestler and great, seller and whatnot. Him and AJ had a great match. Dom, of course, was out there instead of Finn. Eventually, though, AJ would get the victory at the Styles Clash. Afterwards, though, he goes after Dominik, Mysterio, and Finn Balor, who appears to make the save and leaving the belt in the ring. And AJ holds up the IC title and outsmarts Judgment Day and escapes with the belt around his neck. Of course, he was forced to give it back later, but then it was made official that AJ is going to take on Dom for the Intercontinental Championship at Night of Champions. Cool with me. Should be a great match. Alpha Academy was backstage chilling with Sheamus, who's warming up for the main event as he is in the final men's fatal 4-way match. And he's going to take care of Rusev by bullying a bully. And a fired up Tozawa tells him to kick Rusev's ass. And we'll see, of course, how that went down. Bayley made her way out. So this Bayley and Becky Lynch promo. So when Bayley first came out, she said she's glad to be back. And she's missed us. She knows we all the quotes, and you don't know what you get until it's gone. Of course, she knows exactly what it's like to be in the ring, and she doesn't take anything for granted. She talks about being robbed from WrestleMania. She doesn't do this for one night, not for big moments or titles. She does it for nights like tonight and people like us. If Bayley thinks taking her out hurt her, if Becky thinks Bayley getting taken out hurt her, she's wrong. It healed her, made her better and stronger. It always bothered her the way Becky, though, is 2 steps ahead, but she's climbing that ladder and coming straight for her and taking everything she took from her. Which then brings out Becky Lynch, who's wearing a Chicago Bears outfit. And she even dissed on them, saying we still beat you guys, even though they're all chanting Bears still suck. Bears still suck. But anyway, she goes to talk to Bayley and says her and Bayley are the same. They were never meant to be on top. But the difference is that Bayley accepts being second fiddle, but Becky does not. Bayley would rather have the little friends than her legacy. And Becky always preferred a legacy to fake ass friends. But Bayley says she's built a legacy. She's a future Hall of Famer. She's going to bring the people that need a little help with her. And Becky complains that she used to fight for the people until they stopped fighting for her. And the secret is they stopped fighting for Bayley too. And the proof is that nobody gave a damn that Bayley wasn't there at WrestleMania, which is not true. They did give W some backlash for Bayley not being there. But then Bayley then says that Becky sounds like an insecure idiot, so worried about what the crowd would think, that she had to take Bayley out to be a surprise to get a reaction she wanted, and then she took out Lyra because she wasn't comfortable in her reactions. Bayley then asks her if her head is so far up her ass that she can't remember what it used to be like. And Becky says if she remembers what gold feels like. And Bayley's like, she doesn't, but Becky should step to her and remind her. But then Becky just cowers on the ropes, and Bayley's like, what, are you scared? What, are you scared? And then Becky says she will give Bayley a match next week, but not for the title. Of course, it does come out later that it is for the title, and then Lyra Valkyria had a moment where she basically told Bayley that, she's going to do what's best for her. I mean, Bayley thinks it's good to do what's best for her, and she's going to do what's best for her as well. So, first off, I'm fine with them doing Becky versus Bayley next week. I do think the end goal eventually is to do a triple threat match for the women's IC title at Evolution. I did kind of like the more vicious, serious tease from Lyra Valkyria later on. I do feel there is a chance maybe Lyra could go heel and join up with Becky. I do think that Lyra should explore being a heel, because I think it will help her build her character. But as far as Bayley's promo, so I've been saying for a while that I think the reason why Bayley's struggling as a babyface is because whenever she turned face last year, she really, it's like what's going on with Finn right now. She really didn't have a story to get that sympathy back on her. Like, whenever like they're teasing like how like her and Bianca still had tension because Bianca knew what she did to her damage control. Becky Lynch kind of implied the same thing after she turned heel 2 months ago. They really got to dive into that story. How has Bayley grown and matured from that heel run she had? And I was hoping they would have dived into that a little bit in this promo, but they didn't. It's more so it was just a typical, I fight for the people. Oh, the heel's scared of me and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Also, Becky went to do a cheap slap across the face and completely missed Bayley's face. But yeah, it's one of those promos where it's like, okay, but it needed more. Like I said, they really have to address Bayley's past. And I think, when they address that past and how Bayley handles that, I think that's going to give her back the babyface momentum she's been lacking for quite a while. Just a thought. But we had that, and like I said, we did have the backstage where Nick Aldis made it official. He was there for Adam Pearce this week, that they're going to do Becky and Bayley for the Intercontinental title match next week. And then Lyra was kind of like, okay, why didn't you call me while you was gone, this and that and whatnot. And Bayley's, I'm doing what's best for me. And then Lyra's, well, I'll do what's best for me. So like I said, maybe a Lyra Valkyria heel turn, which I would be totally for sure. Oh yeah, and then also we were told that that we're getting AJ and Dom at Night of Champions as well. Also, Jey Uso had a backstage segment saying he says tonight's very important. He's 1-1 with Gunther, even though they fought more than that. And if they're going to run it back, and if he wins the King of the Ring to do it, say less. Yeet. We got all that stuff there. Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan. So, this match didn't even start. And Kairi immediately did a takedown on Liv Morgan, and Liv just probably landed on one of her elbows, funny or something, dislocated her shoulder, had to call off the match. Ouch. That really sucked to see for sure. I felt bad to see Liv have to deal with that there. But it sounds like Liv is going to be out for probably about 3 months from this injury. And which is not bad because she's had her fair share of shoulder injuries. In 2023, that's what kept her out for most of the year, was shoulder problems. And 2024 was the year she finally figured it out. Like, a lot of people say, she was just figuring it out. Like, no, I feel like she did figure it out last year and found the right character for her and had, a great run with the women's world title. So, I feel like, when she comes back, she's going to be in good hands. What that's going to do, though, for the Judgment storyline, with her and Raquel, and even, her and Roxanne, I wouldn't say they would recycle what they did last year when Rhea went out, but I think we're going to be going down a similar path to that. That also means, though, that we're probably not getting Nikki Bella versus Liv Morgan at Evolution. Or even the Bella Twins versus Liv and Raquel for the tag titles, which I still would not want to see, but honestly, again, if you really have to put Nikki Bella on this Evolution card, I think the better choice for her to wrestle would probably be Chelsea Green. I feel like, based off of their gimmicks, I feel like that would be a little more interesting. So, I'll give them that. If they want to keep Nikki Bella on the card, do her and Chelsea Green. I think that could be an interesting thing to do. Sami Zayn had an interview with Karrion Kross backstage. So first he's being interviewed about getting to a world title, which talks about what it would mean to him and so much. And lately, somehow, the opportunity is here. He has a chance to challenge for it a few times, but now something feels different. Karrion Kross rolls up and says, Sammy's insane because he does the same thing every day, expecting a different result, and he's going to go to SmackDown to compete against Randy Orton, and he's going to lose, and Randy's going to win his 15th title, while Sami stays at 0, which Sami says he sits backstage and talks in riddles because he can't back it up in the ring. So he's done listing the Kross, and once he takes care of the King of the Ring, the second it's over, he's going to get Adam Pearce to give a match against Karrion Kross, which Karrion Kross is excellent. So there was that there. And then there was the main event, which was Bronson Reed, Jey Uso, Rusev, and Sheamus. Match was good. Like I said, I still kind of gave the edge a little bit to the women's match because I did like how they really featured Asuka versus Stephanie Vaquer in that match. But this was still good. I'm not going to take away from it. They teased the early stages of the Sheamus and Rusev feud, which, by the way, I keep forgetting how much taller Rusev is. Sheamus is to Rusev. Like, Sheamus is like, what, 6'5", 6'6", somewhere in there? And Rusev, who's a big brute, is only 6 feet tall. But they, obviously it shows a good physical chemistry in there as well. Bronson Reed has some good spots in there. Of course, Braun Breaker did get involved. A lot of people were coming out to save, like, including LA Knight came out, of course, to stop, because he's still going to be feuding with Seth Rollins and company and whatnot. Eventually, though, with a couple of splashes on Bronson Reed, Jey Uso did get the victory. So Jey Uso is going to be going to the semifinals, which his match is going to be on Monday, and him and Cody are going one-on-one. But after the match, Seth Rollins came out, and he was pissed off, and he was about to attack Jey, but then Cody Rhodes comes out. But him and Seth didn't brawl. Before Cody, of course, checked on Jey and whatnot, he had a nice stare down with Rollins. And recently, there was that segment on SmackDown, I believe it was, where Rollins kind of whispered something to Cody. Is there something going on with Seth and Cody? Honestly, if it was more of an idea that maybe we're going to be getting a heel Cody Rhodes, that could have been a good tease. But it feels like we're probably going to be still going to be a while now since we get that. But yeah, Jey Uso wins. Like I said before, I know it's probably my pick to win personally is Sami, but I know it's probably going to be Cody or Jey. And I feel like they're going to finish off the tournament with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, which again, not opposed, but like I keep saying, does it really have to? Where's I going with this now? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, do we really have to get rematches from WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes and John Cena and Jey Uso versus Gunther? Again, I want something different. They're doing this a lot the past few years. They have a couple rematches from WrestleMania, usually the bigger matches. So I would prefer them trying something different. But yeah, Cody and Jey have a match next week. We'll see where it goes. And with that, guys, being said, that is my 300th Raw review on the channel. I thought it went pretty well. I'm going to check the live chat, then I'm going to head out of here. Live chat, got the floor. What do we got here? I think we're here. Tyler said, did you hear that SmackDown's going back to 2 hours? Hope it's true. Latest I heard is supposed to go back to 2 hours starting July the 4th. And if that's the case, I hope it's true. Thank goodness, because I can't sit through a 3-hour episode of SmackDown. I think it's Saturday's main event in the Goldberg versus Gunther match. I think that's when Seth will cash in and win the belt. Oh yeah, they'll have Seth Rollins. They'll have Goldberg win. Then Seth will attack him, and he'll beat Goldberg for the title. I don't know, kind of a waste still, but who knows what it's gonna be. But yeah, thank you to Tyler and Fallen Soul. But I am going to get out of here, and I'm going to go watch Dynamite and just try to take care of a few other things as well before I go to bed. Again, guys, it's been a long, crazy weekend between snakes and my cat and other things going on. I'm ready for a breather. So, like I said, I am going to be trying this coming weekend to do my SmackDown review live. That way, both the 300th episodes are live, and be able to just chill with you guys from there on. Tyler says, I can't see both Raw and SmackDown in 3 hours. Like I said, I just wish SmackDown would be part of a streaming service. That way they can let each show be the appropriate length it needs to be for that week. Because that's helped a lot, of course, with Raw. So yeah. But I'm going to get out of here now, guys. Thank you for joining me live. What are you guys' thoughts on Raw? I gave the B. The two things that I nitpicked on that I didn't really like was the Goldberg segment. And, of course, I thought that Bayley was missing something to kind of, like, really start to get some sympathy on her. But yeah, so just throwing those out there. And again, that's going to do it, guys. What are your guys' thoughts on Raw? Again, gave the show a B. You guys let us down in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at the Club of the Man 93. You can also follow me on TikTok and on Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later and have a great rest of your night. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!